Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Free agent Gabe Davis is reportedly set to visit the Steelers, but this isn't the beginning of their flirtation. According to Bills sideline reporter Sal Capaccio, their interest in him dates back to at least last year. That's not exactly surprising, given that the Steelers tend to have long histories with most players in the league, seemingly. I'll tell you, because I got to know Gabe and his reps a little bit. Pittsburgh was interested in him when he was a free agent the first time around, Capaccio said of the Steelers on 93.7 The Fan yesterday. Likewise, the Steelers traded for Dante Jackson and Mike Williams after previously pursuing them in free agency. I immediately said, okay, I think he could go to the Steelers, he said after the Jaguars released Davis. And now you think about Arthur Smith, the offense he runs. You think about them not getting Jonnu Smith. People in Buffalo said Gabe should be a tight end. I don't agree with that, but that is the type of player I think would appeal to the Pittsburgh Steelers. While there isn't much of a breadcrumb trail tying the Steelers to Gabe Davis, there's a reason for that. Davis came out of the University of Central Florida in 2020, that 2020, the COVID-19 season. While he attended the Combine, there were no pre-draft visits and such. At the time, the NFL granted teams permission to have Zoom meetings with players. But that required no disclosure, so we have no idea how much the Steelers may have expressed interest in Gabe Davis at that time. What we do know is that they drafted Chase Claypool in the second round that year. Davis lasted until the fourth round, going to the Bills, with whom he played out his rookie contract. In Buffalo, he had a solid, steady career in an offense that spread the ball around. Over 4 seasons, he caught 163 passes for 2,730 yards and 27 touchdowns. And Davis had a penchant for hurting the Steelers. In one game, he put up 171 yards on 3 catches, including 2 long touchdowns. In 3 games played, he scored 4 times, with 7 first downs on 8 receptions. Obviously, Gabe Davis beating the Steelers in the past isn't a good reason to sign him. But after trading George Pickens, they could use another established, veteran wide receiver in the mix. Behind DK Metcalf, they have Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin III, Robert Woods, Ben Skowronek, and Scotty Miller. Brandon Johnson is apparently a guy who has drawn some attention, too, and he has those cherished bloodlines. He is relations not only with former MLB player Charles Johnson, but also Chad Johnson, Ochocinco. Ochocinco's cousin, though, doesn't magically fix Pittsburgh's wide receiver room. Were they to sign Gabe Davis, the Steelers would instantly have a solid WR2 option. And if somebody like Roman Wilson emerges, all the better. Given the nature of his contract, it wouldn't cost much either way. Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers are widely expected to work things out and get a deal done together. However, a deal has not been agreed to yet, which has rumors and questions flying around. Some have wondered whether or not Rodgers is waiting so long to see if another opportunity opens up. Many believe that he wanted to sign with the Minnesota Vikings. Is it possible that Rodgers is remaining in free agency as long as possible to see if the Vikings change their mind and decide to sign him? That is something that ESPN NFL insider Jeremy Fowler spoke out about recently. During a radio appearance on KFAN-FM 100.3 on Tuesday, Fowler delivered his thoughts on the matter. I can't say he's rooting for McCarthy to get hurt, it's just sort of a back-of-mind feeling of that maybe he's sort of waiting that out. It's hard with Aaron Rodgers because he's so unpredictable and this is his first foray into free agency, so I can't even begin to get into his mind, Fowler said. Look, he's a smart guy. He sees a team with a good offense, a really good offensive coach and 9 dome games guaranteed. That's pretty attractive to him, I would assume. I still think, you talk to people in Pittsburgh, they say they remain optimistic, they're going to wait a little while longer for Aaron Rodgers, they've been in contact with Aaron Rodgers. It still points to Pittsburgh, but until it happens you at least wonder if he's waiting something out like that. Again, this is just Fowler's opinion. No one ever truly knows what is going on inside Rodgers' head. Wherever he ends up landing, the 41-year-old quarterback is still more than capable of making a huge impact. Last season with the New York Jets, he completed 63% of his passes and threw for 3,897 yards, 28 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. More than likely, if Rodgers plays during the 2025 NFL season, it will be for the Steelers. He would have an opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl with a solid team around him. However, if Minnesota did come calling before he signed with Pittsburgh, it seems likely that he might prefer that option. The Pittsburgh Steelers continue to wait patiently for free agent quarterback Aaron Rodgers to commit to the franchise, but other viable options exist. The rest of the cupboard at the position in free agency is relatively bare, with players like Carson Wentz and Ryan Tannehill, the latter of whom wasn't on a roster for even 1 week in 2024, remaining as the most recognizable names. A couple of other signal callers are likely to come available as training camps begin and quarterback hierarchies develop. For instance, either Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett of the Cleveland Browns could end up on the trade block before August is out. However, there will potentially be a splashier option on the table at some point this summer. Former number 4 overall pick Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts. Richardson, who is heading into the 3rd season, is embroiled in a battle with Daniel Jones for the starting job in Indianapolis. Richardson has not played up to his draft position across 2 years in the NFL, finding himself benched in favor of Flacco for a brief time last season after injury cut his rookie campaign short. That said, the 23-year-old is a strong and fast rusher of the football and also comes equipped with one of the biggest arms in the league. His skill set renders him something of a Justin Fields type of player with a potentially higher ceiling, making Richardson the kind of player with whom Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith should certainly be able to work. Even if Pittsburgh ends up signing Rodgers to a 1- or 2-year contract, Richardson makes sense as a trade option if the team can get him for something like a 3rd or 4th round pick. Should Jones win the starting job with the Colts during the preseason, or should Indianapolis decide to bench Richardson in favor of Jones at some point during the year, that will likely indicate that his future with the franchise is over. At that point, there should be some legitimate interest in Richardson given his age and unteachable talents. He has 2 years remaining on his $34 million rookie deal, and whichever team holds Richardson's rights next summer will be able to exercise a 5th-year option for 2027.